Hi, my name is Karina. I go by thirdeyebabe, and I help women boost their confidence by using style as an expression of their personality and their authenticity. I thought today that I would share my tips for ordering clothing online when it comes to sizing. It's really important to know your sizes, and there's a few key areas that you're going to need to know. And then you'll be consulting the size charts on the clothing websites. Since most of us will be shopping online for the next little while as the shops are closed, and if you want to minimize your returns and minimize your mistakes when it comes to buying fashion online, we want to make sure that the clothing fits you. Most, I would say almost every website that you can order online has measurement charts to help you when selecting your sizes. You want to scroll down below the picture of the item. It will show you the price and the sizes that it's available in. Right by the sizes, there is usually a clickable link to another page that opens up, and it's all the measurements. You want to definitely check that. As well, if you click on the photo, or if you look for a note, perhaps scrolling down to the bottom, the retailer will write some information, give the measurements of the model in the photo, height and size, so you can get an idea of how it would look on your proportion. Here's an example of an online shop. Click below the photo and it brings you to the size chart, all the measurements in inches, sometimes in centimeters, and even shows you how to measure your body. Going down the further on the page, you'll see that the model is wearing a size small. First step when it comes to knowing your sizes, definitely want to use one of these. This is a measuring tape that's flexible, as opposed to one of these. It's a little harder to measure for your dimensions and curves when it comes to this type of tape measure. So you will find this in the sewing section, in the craft section of any big store, department store, dollar store. Luckily, I have one right on my keychain. As a stylist, I think it's super handy to have. If you don't have one of those, you can cut yourself a piece of string. So I had tried this out yesterday using a piece of yarn. Now yarn is a little tricky because it does have a little bit of stretch. So you don't want to pull too hard when you're using yarn. Also, you want to mark off with a knot on one of the sides just to know what end you are, so you don't want to get them confused. I decided to cut a long ribbon. It has no stretch to the material. It's like a canvas. And so I think it'll give me a better idea of my measurements. And also with this, you can either mark it off with a pen on one side, just so when you start to measure, you don't forget what side you measured on. So if you're using one of these, you can always line it up against your measuring tape. So if I'm measuring my waist at the smallest part, I'm gonna mark that off with a pen here to hold it in place. And when you take it away, keep your thumb and fingers on that spot and measure to the end. Grab your measuring tape, put it in the same spot as your thumb. It's a little trickier this way, and then you measure to the bottom. Keep them parallel. Maybe not as ideal, but at least it'll give you an approximation. Most of the size guidelines online will usually go with the 3 general measurements: the chest or bust, the waist, and the hips. The 2 extra ones that you may see would be shoulders and inseam, which is the length of your pant. Also, just to note, if you do a search online, you'll come up with a little bit of variance between the amount of centimeters or inches. Usually it goes by inches. Sometimes it goes by centimeters. What you can do is find an app on your phone that does a measurement conversion. So step 1, we've covered what to use to measure. Step 2 is you want to wear the least amount of clothing as possible. Always start off with wearing the bra that you usually wear. If you have a cup size that is larger than a C, C and D and over. Try not to wear a padded bra, but if you have a bra size that's under and you usually do wear padded bra, go ahead and wear your usual bra. But in this case, I'm wearing a bra with a thin tank top over it and thin pants or leggings fit really close to the body. We're gonna start from the top. We're gonna measure our shoulders, our chest, our waist, our hips, and our inseam. Step number 3, we grab a piece of paper or your phone and keep your measurements in your wallet or in your phone so you always have them with you. All right, so I'm wearing a tank top and I'm wearing pants that are very thin and close to my body, like a legging material. Grab your measuring tape. We're gonna start at the shoulders. Let's wrap the measuring tape around the shoulder, bring them to a spot just below the drop, the curve of the shoulder, where it feels like it's almost falling off. That's where you want to take your measurement from. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. It's so good to practice and do it on yourself, but it's also really helpful to either get a tailor, your friend, your partner to do this for you. Write down your measurements. Next would be the bust. You're wearing the bra that you normally wear, and you want to keep your arms at your sides, nice and relaxed. You want it just underneath your underarm and on the middle of your bust, on the largest part. Make sure the measuring tape is flat and try not to pull it too tight. You want to be able to expand and breathe. You don't want your buttons popping off because you got the wrong size. All right, so be at a comfortable position. Oh, you see already it fell. Take down your chest measurements on your trusty pad. Now next is the waistline. There's a few different ways you can measure your waist that I've seen online. Personally, I think the most accurate is where your waist cinches in at the smallest. A good way to know that is when you bend over, where is that indentation? Right where your ribs end, just before your hips. Again, with this measurement, you don't want to pull it too tight. You want to take a big deep breath, relax, and take your measurement. Now for the hips, you want to stand about hip width apart. Keep yourself nice and relaxed here. And you want to put it right in the center of your butt cheek and around the part where it curves out a little bit here at the widest part of it. So when it comes to the inseam, which is basically the length of the pants, you just want to have a general idea of how many inches. Usually you see this mainly in jeans. Best thing that I would recommend is find a pair of pants that you know already fit you exactly at a perfect length. Measure from the crotch down. I'm not going to be taking off my pants where it hits you here. And you want to measure maybe to just below your ankle. Go ahead and record your number for that. That's pretty much it for measuring yourself. Extra tips when it comes to ordering online. So some of the sellers online that you'll find here on Instagram or in Etsy or other marketplaces where you'll find secondhand consignment clothing, sometimes they don't give you the circumference of the waist, they'll give you the diameter of the waist. And what I mean by that is they will measure a waistband of the pant. What you could do is just take your waist measurement and cut it in half. Or another really good tip is to find a pair of pants that currently fit you really well. Take out your measuring tape and measure them across, just to make sure. Those are just my basic tips on measuring yourself and knowing your sizes when it comes to online shopping. Another thing to consider is when you are between sizes, so let's say medium and large, they'll give you a range of numbers between 28 and 30. Large would go from 30 to 33. Say you're in between sizes, I would definitely recommend to go up a size. You don't want to take a risk of the pants not fitting you and being uncomfortable. Unfortunately, it's a little harder to tailor and let out the material of a garment, so you definitely want to size up. Also leaves wiggle room for when you clean, and launder your pieces. Sometimes even if they're pre-shrunk, they will go down a little bit in size. Make sure you do follow the care instructions, but if it is cotton, definitely it'll shrink down a little bit. So give yourself extra wiggle room, go up a size. If it is still too big on you, you can always take them in really easily, and then it'll fit you exactly the way you want it to fit you, and you'll definitely wear the item even more. So those are my tips on how to measure yourself, where to find your size guides online. Make sure that you know your sizes. Sometimes the return policies are not in your favor, so, and you know, shipping back and forth is really expensive as well. So we want to minimize that. We want to be happy with our purchases. We want the clothes to fit us the best they can. Definitely going up a size, tailoring down if needed. The tailor is your best friend, my Sherries. So don't worry if they're a little bit too long on you, a little bit too big. It's such an easy fix, and you'll end up being happier with the clothes in the end. I hope this helps you a little bit, and happy shopping online. Stay safe, stay well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, send me a DM, send me an email. You can even text me if you want. I'm offering free 20-minute consultations. If you are looking for some guidance and direction in your style, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're looking to get the maximum wear out of the clothes that you have in your closet, I have all kinds of different services to help you. And I want you to look your best and feel your best. That way you can go out and do your best in the world. That's it. That's all. Bye, lovelies.